Welcome to Grand Sumo Breakdown,
the unofficial sumo podcast
for official sumo fans.
Okay, then let's just fucking go for it.
All right. Well, you heard the man. Welcome to Grand Sumo Breakdown. This is Ryan.
This is Jake.
This is Fleric.
This is Mac.
And this is our Natsu Midway recap episode. There are going to be spoilers through day 8. So if you have not watched day 8, pause the podcast, watch everything up through day 8, restart the podcast. Glad you're back with us.
And knowing us, you probably don't have to watch the rest of the basho either because our predictions are always like really spot on.
Yeah, exactly.
So, we've already seen a week.
You can't even say that with a straight face this time. We'll save it for later, but
no.
Oh.
But yeah,
We'll
I mean,
get
it's been
there.
predictable so far, so we can probably figure out what's going to happen.
Before we dive into the craziness that has been week 1 of the Natsu Basho, let's start some Patreon compliments. We've had one new patron sign up since we recorded the preview, and that is DK. So DK, you're the leader of the bunch. We know you well. You're finally back to kick some tail. Your coconut gun can fire in spurts. If you shoot us, it's gonna hurt. You're bigger, faster, and stronger too. You're the newest member of the GSB crew. Huh, DK. New patron. DK. New patron is here.
Jake, did you not play Donkey Kong?
I mean, I played video games. That sounds like it's from like a Saturday morning knockoff cartoon kind of deal, right?
That's from the beginning of Donkey Kong Country 64.
Yes,
well, I'm sure that's one of the ones I didn't play then.
Masterpiece of our time.
Oh,
oh, that's the one with like 7 billion collectibles, isn't it?
Yes,
I love it.
Yes.
I didn't get a song when I joined the podcast, so
Yeah, me neither.
Well, these people may not get a song, but they are no less valuable. So have Rhiannon McLean, Rob Shields, Jorge Lamarca, Trent E., Caroline, Octavian Martin, Giuseppe Silico, Rob Graham, King of Salt, Glenn Otto, Alex Hearn, Anna Sukahara, Aetherist, Casey Mustang, Beth Comer, and Dave Rodriguez. Your support is as savory as Utah chocolate truffles.
Oh man!
Speaking of Utah chocolate
Just
truffles,
the best chocolate truffles.
So we see Mac and Jake are taunting Fleric and I, as it appears they do have their hands on some chocolate truffles. I
know they're so rude.
What the hell? Why does Fleric have them?
Ryan, seriously, man, did you not?
Oh yeah. So when we were in Utah for the U.S. national tournament, our listener Rod Lunsford stopped by and gave us some souvenir chocolates. And he gave us 4, but me and Mac ate them all because they were so good. We didn't bother to share we didn't bother to split the 4 chocolates among the 4 podcast members. That's silly. So instead, what happened was afterwards, Rod gave me a little bit of crap because yes, I ate more than my fair share of chocolates. But after that, he got our addresses and sent us all some chocolate. So I don't understand what's going on with Ryan.
Yeah.
So last weekend or earlier this week, I don't remember.
Oh, it's so good.
I get a package from Rod Lunsford. I'm like, oh, here's the chocolates that I'm going to distribute to everybody. I open it up, and it is the Book of Mormon with a note, a handwritten note from Rod Lunsford saying, I need that more than chocolate. So I don't know if it's a fat joke.
I don't think he's wrong.
I don't know if he thinks that I am an immoral bastard that needs religion in my life. He's not wrong on either point. To the point where I wasn't sure if it was a joke and if we had an issue.
He did too.
I don't think it
was
a
like
joke. I mean, we
genuinely
all got
concerned because he's like, oh yeah, I've given your address out to a couple of members of my church in the area. They'll be visiting you soon. I'm like, all right, I like Rod, but like if this is for real, we've got an issue.
The fact that you doubted it was a joke for a second, So I assume that you
perfect.
I assume that like a day or two later you got your chocolates though. Did he just send them
Absolutely not, unless my wife has been hiding them. I have got
didn't give you
zero chocolates.
Yeah. Well, unfortunately, that was my last one. So.
Yeah. Oh God, we got like I got like 12 of these. Like, oh my God.
I got a whole box.
When did you get those, Mac?
When did I get them? Oh, it
Yeah.
was not I. I don't know. I came home. Carolyn's sitting there munching on chocolates, and I'm going, "What the hell?"
When
Those
did
are
that
the
happen?
Utah
These just
chocolates.
came
Because
in.
Yeah.
both you and Fleric were at my house just yesterday.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Assholes. All right, we don't have enough time to dwell on this anymore.
Utah truffle. It's something that was brought to us specifically because Rod wanted to give us a souvenir from his hometown, and yeah, excellent chocolate.
So good.
Yeah.
So good.
All right. Let's start talking about this first week of the Natsu Basho. I'm
Mint
too
ones, too.
angry with shut up. We are on a limited time frame here, Jake.
Okay,
We have
okay,
to
sorry.
dive in to the absolute chaos that is the Natsu Basho.
The dumpster fire.
Yeah. You can call it what you want, like, yay, I love parody. I love seeing new people competing for the top, but there's no denying that this is just an absolute mess of a tournament. And now my wife walks in. Here are the truffles that apparently we've had for who knows how long.
Yes.
Have been hiding who knows where.
It's been really hard for me to not.
Apparently it's been really hard for my wife to not eat them or to not tell me. I don't.
Probably
Natsu
pretty easy
Basho.
not to tell you.
Ryan, control that anger, dude.
Long story short, right now we have 5 Rikishi tied for the lead with a 6-2 record, none of which are in the Sanyaku ranks. All Maegashiras are leading the Basho. And then just behind them, 1 win behind, we have 11 Rikishi with a 5-3 record. And behind them, I haven't even counted, but it's more than 11 Rikishi. It's like 11 or 12 Rikishi with just 4 wins that are 2 wins back. Over half of the field is still in the race for this. And probably if you're 3 and 5, you might be in the race for this Basho. Who knows what's going to happen? But there's some historic precedents that's happened with how poorly the Sanyaku has done this tournament so far. So after day 2, we had no undefeated Sanyaku Rikishi. No Sanyaku out of 8 could go 2-0 to start the tournament. That's literally the first time that has ever happened. Sumo DB has daily matchup records going back to 1909. I literally clicked through the results of every Basho after day 2, and literally none of between now and 1909.
I was
And
gonna say that's a lot.
That's
none
a
of
lot.
them.
I'm not surprised, but that's a lot.
Yeah,
This is
okay,
the
fair.
only one where there was no 2-0 Sanyaku Rikishi.
Wow.
So that we should have known after day 2. Just laid the groundwork.
I do want to point out, since you kind of skipped over it, but the title. What is the title of this bullet point for this section?
Sanyaku sucks.
So apropos.
Thank you.
So apropos.
And then after day 6, we had no Sanyaku Rikishi with more than 4 wins for the first time in 18 years in Aki 2004. Ozeki Kaio started 4-2, finished 13-2. Well, all of our Sanyaku Rikishi have at least 5-3, so we know that scenario is not happening.
Mhm.
And then we have no Sanyaku Rikishi with more than 5 wins after day 8 for the first time in 21 years in Aki of 2001. That's when Maegashira 2 Kotomitsuki won with a 13-2 record. So we're looking at some chaos coming up in week 2. Let's dive into who are the 5 Rikishi at 6-2 so far. So at Maegashira 3, we have Tamawashi. I have found a way to make myself cheer for Tamawashi. 2 ways, in fact. One, the fact that he is so old now makes it unique what he's doing, and that is interesting. So kind of
Okay.
cheering for him. But then I don't remember if it was on Twitter, on the Sumo Reddit. I found a nickname for him that I'm 100% behind, Tommy Mawashi. So I am all about Tommy Mawashi from here on out.
That's like his 1920s gangster name.
Yeah.
I like
Yeah.
it.
So this is the 3rd straight Basho that Tommy Mawashi has gotten a Kinboshi over Terano Fuji. And 3 out of the past 4 Basho, he has started 6-2. He's been getting off to real hot starts recently. But in the 2nd week, he's had no more than 3 wins in week 2 for the past 4 Basho. So Jake, with that in mind, do you think Tommy Mawashi is a contender for the Yusho, or is he a pretender?
I gotta say he's a contender. So it seems to be the pattern that the narrative we're establishing here is he fades in week 2. He maybe it's an age thing, maybe it's just wear and tear or whatever. He's one of those guys that has never missed a match in his entire career. How many is that now? He has, there you go, 1429. That's how many matches he's been in his career, and he's never missed a single one of them. So it's fair to assume, oh my God, it's so good, isn't it? I was kind of thinking maybe we should keep Ryan talking so long that he doesn't get a chance to eat any, but either way, no, spectacular chocolate. But yeah, so Tamawashi has he's been around long enough that there's got to be wear and tear, and maybe that's the narrative we're looking at for why he's fades in week 2. But looking at the rest of the guys in the lead, he's the only one with a Yusho, and other than maybe Aoyama, I don't think anybody else even has like a Jun Yusho out of that pack. But like he's got experience, he's been there before. And other than like maybe I think there was only like one match where he didn't look like he was at least in the match the whole time. And other than that, he's looked really good. I gotta say he's a contender, and he might be one of my picks for the whole thing right now.
Just a real quick correction. Takanosho actually has one Jun Yusho in his career as well. Yeah.
The last point I wanted to make on Tamawashi is he has already faced Teruno Fuji, and he's already faced 2 out of 3 Ozeki. And both
it's the
second
third
walkout.
Shodai because that doesn't count.
Yeah, no, let's no.
Yeah. So there's a freebie. There's a free win. But no, I think he's absolutely a contender. That could change, but I would not be surprised if he was in the race until the very end.
All right. So we mentioned him, Maegashira for Takanosho. He is one of the 5 tied at 6-2. He has also gotten a Kinboshi victory over Teruno Fuji. He had that happen today on day 8. Mac, is Takanosho a contender or pretender for this basho?
As you said earlier, he's got a Jun Yusho under his belt. He's defeated Teruno Fuji. He's also defeated Tamawashi, another possible contender with that. He faces Mitakayumi tomorrow.
I'm sorry, who?
Tamawashi and Teruno Fuji.
I don't recognize that Tamawashi fellow.
Yeah, who's
He's
that?
instantly been rerolling in
Oh
his
my God,
mind.
we were just making the nickname joke, Mac.
Now, oh, fine. I was like, no, I'm going to give him his actual. Fine. Anyway, continuing forward.
He's not going to
contender.
give you.
Has to be a contender in this case. I haven't had enough chocolate. I need more chocolate.
Well, fortunately, we have a tremendous amount of this very high quality chocolate.
Grand Sumo Breakdown brought to you by Utah Truffles.
It's so good.
Hopefully, with the amount of money that they paid us, they could also come up with a better motto than that. But
No, but I would say he's looking really good. He had a couple of flubs with Onosho and Abi, but thus I think he's definitely turned over a new leaf from the last tournament, which he did not do so well with 4-11. But I think this is a good point for him. I think he's stepping back into gear. I think it'll be fine. I definitely have to say he's a contender at this point.
All right, we'll move right along to our third Maegashira contender, Maegashira 11, Aoyama. He started off 6-0, but he has lost his last 2 matches. Fleric, is Aoyama a realistic Yusho contender, or is he just a pretender?
As much as I love the guy, after that losing 2 matches in a row, he's definitely going to be a pretender in my eyes. He might be able to squeak out like a, I guess, Jun Yusho tie at the end with like maybe 5 other people.
Yeah.
But no, there's better people above him. There's better people below him on the record wise. There's no way.
All right. Next on the list, we have Maegashira 12, Sada no Umi. And exactly. Because of that, I'm going to say Sada no Umi is an absolute pretender. Doing a little research on him, he has only one basho with at least 10 wins in the top division in his entire career, and that was his very first basho in the top division. So out of 40 tournaments he's participated in, he's only gotten 10 or more wins once. He might do it again this time just because everybody else seems to suck, but I don't think he's going to do enough to be able to get to the 11 probable wins for the show this basho. He also hasn't been higher. This one doesn't have any reflection on if I think he can win this basho or not, but he hasn't been higher than Maegashira 8 since 2015.
Ugh.
For somebody that's been around for so long to have only been in the bottom half of the Bansuke just seems interesting to me.
Yeah, even
But
Ishiura's popped up to 4 or whatever it was.
He popped up to 5 last basho. Yeah.
Yeah.
And before that, Ishiura had been around since like 2017 and never been
And
above
never
Maegashira
cracked it.
8.
But Ishura at least bumps down to Juryo a lot. But I feel like Sada Naomi is almost always like right in Maegashira, but always
He's
in that.
bumped down to Juryo a couple of times recently, winning a Juryo U show. But yeah,
That's right. Yeah. Oh well.
Yeah. I feel like he was like winner of like or the loser of our popularity contest is like the most unforgettable not thought of Rikishi.
Mm.
Yeah, I
Maybe
thought
him
that
and
was
Shima Naomi.
Kageyaki. Anyway.
no,
people have
Kageyaki's
opinions
more
on
hated.
Kageyaki.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's one of those guys that nobody votes for him as their favorite. Nobody votes for him as their least favorite. He just exists.
He just
Yeah.
is.
Yeah.
So in that thing, let's go Sad Naomi. People are talking about you. Let's go.
Fair point.
All the podcasts that I listen to are talking about Sada Naomi on their podcast. So. Speaking of fellow sumo podcasts, Sumo Punks had a really funny Photoshop of Rada Naomi with like sunglasses.
check
Like
that
a
out.
pink
It was
mohawk and
yeah, it was
stuff
pretty
like
funny.
that.
Nice.
All right. Maegashira 15, Ichi Yamamoto. Jake, I don't have any flavor text for this guy. Is he a contender or a pretender?
Absolutely pretender at this point. I need to see a lot more from him. Like his matches, he's looked good. Obviously, his record is looking pretty good. But the highest ranked guy that he's faced is Maegashira 12. So
Maegashira 11.
Aoyama. Okay, who
And he lost
to
to him.
Yeah.
Yep.
And he's got the other 11 tomorrow, it sounds like. But either way, like with that strength of schedule and the history that he has, which is, bottom of Maegashira at this point in his career, it seems like I need to see something else before I would start to believe in him.
Yeah. And we usually get to think it's like, all right, yeah, he might be beating up on these lower ranked guys. Just wait until he keeps doing good. They face him up against the Sanyaku Rikishi. And I'm like,
But
well,
does
does
that
really
mean
give
anything?
me a test
Yeah.
this basho?
I still think it will. Look at Aoyama, who faced like someone a little bit higher, and like he instantly just started losing some matches.
I do think it's interesting. I do think they kind of saw what was happening with this basho, and they started matching up these guys a lot quicker than they might have originally, because both Aoyama and Ichi Yamamoto were undefeated after day 6, and so they were facing off against each other the next day. I think they're trying to narrow this field real quick so that they can avoid my dream scenario of having like an 8-man playoff at the end.
Yeah. Yeah, and Aoyama, they're giving him a Maegashira 7 tomorrow. They're continuing to have him fighting above his rank, which in the past we have seen not really happen until like day 13. So like I don't know. I think they're probably gunning at this point to make sure that they have at least a few of like the big name high rankers in the race.
Yeah, I'll be interested to see when these Maegashira that are outside of the Joy start facing Sanyaku Rikishi. Because we saw last time it was like day 10 with Takayasu when he started facing the Sanyaku. So we'll see if it kind of continues that similar trend.
Oh, Takayasu.
I'm no commentary. I'm just pointing out facts. All right, let's talk about the guys that are 1 win off the pace. We have 11 Rikishi with a 5-3 record. And instead of breaking down each and every one of them, we're going to play our version of Bang, Marry, Kill. Yusho, Makekoshi, or Kachikoshi. So I have given each of us a group of 3, myself a group of 2, Rikishi, and we have to assign out of those 3, which one do we think is an absolute Yusho contender? Which one do we think they'll get a Kachikoshi, but they'll fall out of contention? And which one do we think will fall apart and get a Makekoshi? So, Mac, who would you bang, marry, kill with Takakeisho, Kiribayama, and Koto Shoho?
All right, fine. I'm gonna go back with the Yusho,
Mary would
Makekoshi,
be-
Kachikoshi.
Yeah. Let's just do that.
I'm gonna go with that one. Let's see. Yusho, I'd honestly have to give this to Kiribayama. I'm loving the way that his sumo's been for this one, and I think he really could stand a chance of taking this. Kachikoshi has to be Takakeisho, just because he's Takakeisho. He'll pull it around, especially if he gets that powerful left-handed, open-handed jab and just throws people around the ring. And Koto Shoho, definitely thinking he's a pretender in that case. I know we ran that poll earlier. It's like, are the Ozeki bad, or is Koto Shoho the real deal?
That was Koto Nowaka.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well, I get those two mixed up. Anyway, Koto
Understand.
Shoho, definitely Makekoshi. Sorry, buddy.
All right, Flick, your group of 3 are Abi, Daieisho, and Ura.
There you go. And I can't just marry and bang them all.
No.
Or Oh shucks. Okay. I think this is actually a really tough one. Although, okay, no. Well, yeah.
I mean,
I
that's
have
why we're
decided-
talking about it. Yeah.
That's exactly.
Yeah. I think I'm gonna go with the Dai show on the get the U show. Because he's just slow. He's always impressed me, and he's had some really good matches against some Ozeki. I think
Manhandled Terano Fuji.
yeah, I think people are kind of saying like, oh, like Sanyaku are kind of doing a little bad, but some of these like up and counters, just they're doing pretty good. I kind of want to like push against that a little bit as well. Like the competition, there is parity up at the top. I think that's going on, and I've seen some good stuff from Daisho, so I would not be surprised if he gets another Yusho at some point. I say because I'm pretty sure he got Yusho, right?
Yes.
That's why I thought.
He won
And
it
that's down-
January last year.
And then that's down to what banging and killing Abi or Makikoshi,
Wait, what?
Kachikoshi.
Yes.
It's probably gonna be Abige Kachikoshi. He's still pretty good. And Ura, probably the Makikoshi, I guess. I'll go with that.
All right, Jake, your group of 3 are Tobizaru, Wakamoto Haru, and Chiyotairyu.
I think they're all gonna get Makikoshi.
Not the game.
I understand it's not my final answer, but it's what my heart says. So I think out of the ones that, man, Tobizaru's got to be the Makikoshi for me. His chaotic style over a long enough time frame can't like be consistently high level, and he hasn't won in the ring since day 4. His win that he got since then was a Fusen win over Onosho, who had to pull out for injury. And
Broken ribs for Odo
Yep.
show.
yeah, so I can't think of Tobizaru having a good second week, especially even if he continued. Oh God, he's got Terano Fuji tomorrow, so that's not good news either.
Who has
Um,
Terunofuji tomorrow?
Tobizaru.
Oh, really?
So
I didn't think
assuming
they were going to be
Terano-
reaching down that far.
Dun, dun,
All right.
dun.
yeah, so I don't think it's going to go that great for him.
That could be a very interesting match. I'm excited for that one.
And God, I guess by like level of priority, Chiyotairyu has to be the one to like eke out a Makikoshi for me, or Kachikoshi.
Kachikoshi.
Because he's won 5 in a row, but he looked like garbage on those first 3 days that he lost. Really hard to believe that he's going to string together more wins. I think the 5 already has been kind of lucky. So I'll say he barely gets Kachikoshi, which leaves me saying Wakamoto Haru gets a Yusho? He's looked okay, but he's fought everyone like right around his same rank. It's not, I don't know. I don't feel
Back to
good
back,
about it.
brother Yusho. I'm about it. Sign me up.
I guess by process of elimination, yes, I'm picking Wakamoto Haru to win the Yusho.
Wow. All right. Jake
Thanks for
wants
that
like a mid
setup, Ryan.
Bonsuke person to win the U show. Interesting. Okay.
All right. And for me, I only have 2 people left. I've got Terano Fuji and Hoshoryu. I'm going to eliminate the mid-link Kachikoshi option. I'm just going to go with a Yusho contender or Makekoshi. And the Makekoshi, I'm going to give to Terano Fuji for pulling out of the tournament.
He's gonna
I
pull
think.
out before he gets too many.
Yeah,
losses.
maybe Tobizaru gets another Fusen win tomorrow. Don't know, but yeah, Terano. He's looked good in a couple of matches, but the people who know how to beat him are beating him. Takanosho has a good record against Terano Fuji.
Yeah.
We all know Daisho will beat him, and Tamawashi's beaten him 3 straight tournaments.
It looks like aggressive pushers are his thing.
Yeah,
Takanosho, Tommy Mawashi, and Daisho.
Mhm.
You just get in his face, push him, keep him off the belt. That seems to be the formula.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's not easy, but it seems to be the formula.
Yep, keep him on his heels.
So for that reason, I've got Terano Fuji, Makekoshi, and Hoshoryu as the Yusho contender, because if not for a grievous error by the Gyoji and the Shinpan department today, Hoshoryu would be in the lead with a 6-2 record. We'll dive into that a little bit more, but for that reason, I have Hoshoryu as the Yusho contender. So, and then typically we also go through like the people that are 2 matches out because there's a chance they could win. We've seen it happen a couple times in the most recent years, but we're not going to go through the 12 Rikshi that are currently
Exactly,
4
it's
and
another
4 and
12.
still in the Yusho race.
Let's do another round of Bang, Marry, Kill.
I don't want to. So let's talk about the most depressing thing for me this basho, and that is the first week for Wakataka Kage. Jake, Mac, and I were so confident. It's like, easy 10 wins for Wakataka Kage this time. He's going to keep that Ozeki run alive. And Fleric was the lone voice of reason to come and say, pump the brakes on this. Let's see a little bit more. And we're seeing a little bit more, and it's not looking great for Wakataka Kage. Jake, do you think he can turn it around in week 2 to at least salvage an 8-7 record? He is 3-5 right now.
I don't think so, because he does have the 5 hardest matchups ranking wise are still on the table for him. 3 Ozeki, a Yokozuna, and the other Sekiwake Abi. I'm not saying that Shodai and a potentially injured Teruno Fuji are like guaranteed losses for Wakataka Kage by any means.
You mean 2-6 asterisk Shodai?
Right, exactly. But I guess what I'm saying is between the 5 of them, plus a couple other matches, he can't lose. He can only lose 2 more. And I think he's probably going to lose at least 3 or 4 more. That's because he's going through the first week. A Sekiwake has, other than the Komasubis, a Sekiwake generally has a better first week record or first week schedule than second week. And things don't look great here. It's going to be tough.
Yeah, and his wins are against Hokuto Fuji, who is 2-6, Endo, who is 3-5, and Takayasu, who is 2-6. So the people that he's beating, even the ones that are ranked below him, are people that are just struggling overall this basho. So real big turnaround between basho for Wakataka Kage.
I will say that his loss on day 5 to Hoshoryu, I was texting with our listener Will on this one. That was a handgun. That was maybe even if you take that one off, he's still 3-4. Even if you don't count that one as like a big indicator, it's still a loss, and he's still not great otherwise.
Couple quick notes on our other Ozeki. Mitake Yumi has started 4-4. This is the worst week 1 for him in over a year, and then just there's Shodai. I mean, like when he's getting worse.
He looks
he's
great.
getting worse.
Yeah, but he's looked great for a combined like 4.5 seconds this basho, right? Like
the flash in the pan just doesn't do it anymore.
He absolutely did not beat Hoshoryu on day 8, but he looked okay for the match itself. Yeah, and the one against Takayasu, he looked like Ozeki run Shodai for like a second. But what the hell, man?
Yeah, you can't. I don't think you can blame this on long COVID anymore. I mean, we saw him recover from that even before week 2 started last basho. Like, this is a worse start to the basho than he had last time when he had his miracle recovery. I don't think any of us are chalking Shodai up for an 8-7 miracle run. Save his Ozeki rank, not save his Ozeki rank, but prevent him from going Kadoban next basho.
Right.
So. Anybody have any grand thoughts on Mitake Yumi other than, well, it's kind of disappointing. We were hoping you'd be next Yokozuna.
I'm pretty worried because he's my champ for our prediction series, and he's generally a guy who does better in week 1.
That's okay. Wakataka Kage's Flarix champ, so.
Yeah.
Ooh, okay. No, I feel a little better about it. But no, generally he's somebody because of his ranking, he's always been Sekiwake for like a million years, right? So generally he would have his easy matchups in week 1 and do well there. The problem is that as an Ozeki, he still does have most of his easier matchups in week 1.
Right.
At least ranking wise, because I mean, if he has to face like Shodai on day 14 or something, that's not exactly a late tournament barn burner there.
I'm gonna laugh if they're like, nope, Shodai's out of this. Let's give Mitake Yumi some actual competition.
Yeah,
Just don't
not even
include
put Shodai
anymore.
against the other Ozekis or something.
Right.
We've seen it happen plenty of times
right.
before.
Exactly.
So let's talk a little bit more about that Shodai Hoshoryu match today. Is there anybody on this podcast that doesn't think Hoshoryu was robbed of a victory today?
This is why you have slow motion replay. This is why they implemented it in Sumo for situations like this.
So I'm going to assume Mac does think Hoshoryu was robbed?
Good.
Okay.
You have been paying attention.
I will say, as like the devil's advocate, this is the one where like Hoshoryu is being essentially pushed back the entire time, but then he did kind of like a little move thing where Hoshoryu hit the ground first before Hoshoryu, right?
Yeah, Shodai touched before Hoshoryu.
Yeah, I guess
Not
the one
only
thing
that, but-
saying Yeah, like I will say he was the for the was it the devil's advocate, because I think I'm kind of with you guys about Hoshoryu. I think he was getting essentially pushed back and beat for most of that match until that little spin move at the edge.
Yeah,
Mhm.
But touch the rules are
absolutely.
rules.
Yeah.
I will say.
Yeah.
Absolutely, Shodai was winning the first 99% of that match. Unfortunately, the only percentage point that matters is the last 1%. And Shodai was going down. Hoshoryu still had his foot in the ring. The top of Shodai's foot touched the doyo while Hoshoryu still had a foot in. Then the rest of Shodai's
Then the
leg
rest of
hit,
Shodai hit.
and then Shodai's elbow hit, and then his entire left side was down on the ground before any of Hoshoryu
Yeah.
touched the ground.
You could
It was
say-
blatant. There was no mono e, and Chairman Hakaku criticized the Shinpan at ringside for
Oh,
not calling a
nice.
mono e, per a poorly translated article from Nikon Sports.
By
Google
poorly
does
translated-
their best, but
Oh yeah, okay. Google
Yeah.
translated. Yeah, I gotcha. We don't necessarily have an English language source just yet.
I got
From
the
somebody
gist,
who-
though.
Yeah. I think people who say that this may have been the right decision would probably point to the dead body rule.
Doesn't
but
apply.
but I don't think it applies here because we've only seen that apply where like you touch down first while your opponent is like fully airborne, you know, like,
Airborne.
fully out of the ring. We don't know that that's the dead set rule for like how they determine that, but it seems to be the very strong pattern that we've seen established over a long time here.
Mhm.
Yeah, that wouldn't apply here. Hoshoryu's foot was still down on the Tawada,
Right.
while Shodai's top of his foot was down. So yeah, that wouldn't apply. I think people like to make mountains out of molehills, and so I've been seeing, like, especially on Reddit, when things get controversial, people just go to conspiracy so quick. There's like, well, this was a concerted effort by the JSA.
Oh,
the
yeah, he's
Gyoji,
among
and
the
the
Shinpan.
Shinpan department to
Mm.
keep Hoshoryu down. They just want to make sure Shodai maintains his Ozeki rank because, of course, Shodai is
Oh,
the guy that you
come
want to
on.
protect.
And he's
I
not
was
even
gonna say.
Kadoban.
So
Like,
yeah,
No.
they're creating this grand conspiracy theory to either keep Shodai Ozeki or keep Hoshoryu down because of who his uncle is. When the much simpler and probable reason is these guys made a mistake. They messed up. They'll
Yeah.
learn from it and they'll try to do better next time. Mistakes happen.
Bummer, what's a bummer though is that they have the system in place to immediately correct the mistakes when they happen.
Yep.
Yes.
Absolutely.
And one of the Shimpan was 3 feet at eye level from the offending foot that we're talking about here. It's I don't know, man. They should have at least reviewed it.
Yeah,
Totally.
even when you have all of the systems in place to make sure it doesn't happen, when people are involved, mistakes are going to happen, and that's what happened here. Nothing more, nothing less. It sucks, but it was a
It
mistake.
is what it
It's-
is.
It's a
Yep.
bummer that enough people made the same mistake on the same match. You know, like what are the chances the Gyoji gets it wrong? Pretty low. What are the chances the Shimpan also gets it wrong? Pretty low. But like sometimes they happen at the same time, and it
Yep.
sucks.
Yeah,
I had written down on day 2. I felt like Shodai got a little bit robbed. On day 3, Mitakeyumi got a little bit robbed.
Mhm.
I
They've
think
been
both of
hesitant
those-
to call the mono e, it feels like.
Yeah,
Yes.
I think for both of those, they didn't even call a Mono-E to review it, and on
No.
slow-mo replay, they were both pretty
They're close.
strong cases for a rematch.
And then today we had Koto Nawaka versus Wakataka Kage, where I thought
Mhm.
it was pretty clear that Koto Nawaka won that match. That's how the Gyoji called it. They called a mono e, and it was like, why did you call a mono e? That was pretty evident from what we saw.
Yeah.
But yeah, just like mistakes happen. I kind of feel like that's this basho as a whole.
Yeah. I will say
It was a mistake to do sumo this month.
Yeah. I will say I think there was like some chairman, there was like some elections that happened maybe just recently or maybe like the past month or so. And I do think like a lot of new Oikata are being moved around with the jobs. Because I think I saw a
absolutely.
picture of Kisano Sato Nishiseki actually being a
Nishonoseki.
Nishinoseki, yeah.
Yep.
Actually being a ringside judge now. He got his
Yep.
job moved around. So
Yep.
I think there might be a couple new Oikata like in the ringside judge that are kind of learning the ropes.
Yeah,
That
that
might
could
be
be
part of it.
too. I know Naruto Oyakata is in the Shinpan department now, and I've
There you
seen
go.
him ringside. So that's a good point, Flair. It could be just a couple of newbies getting their feet wet and learning how it's supposed to go. So I have grand thoughts on this basho because it took me until today to become okay with what this basho is, because most people who listen to this know that I love the narratives and forward momentum with storylines, and like all of that is just being completely shut down, or at least all positive storylines are being completely shut down. Oh, are you excited about Mitake Yumi? He's been looking real good. He could be the next Yokozuna. 4-4
Denied.
week 1. Not happening. Ooh, Waka Takakage. That's a nice shiny Yusho you got, buddy. Seki Wake, you're sure to be Ozeki next time. Ugh, not so much. Takayasu, he's back from his injuries. Look how good he did last time.
That's a big one.
I mean, you're
Just
right,
saying.
but shut up.
Yeah.
Hey, Terano Fuji, he's been struggling the past couple basho. He's feeling better. He's been practicing. He'll be back to Yokozuna level. Nope, not happening.
Cue sound of shattered glass.
I don't think that one was worthy of the mimed plane crash, but it is still
That's why I
not
said
good.
shattered glass.
Yeah.
I mean, you could even look at like Hoshoryu. It's like, yeah, he's doing really good. He should be in the lead for the Yusho
should
contender.
be
You're just
leading.
not getting what anybody wants, unless what you're looking for is chaos. And that is what this basho has given us. And that's what I am allowing myself to embrace for the next week. We have 5 Maegashira leading the pack with 6-2 records. And at this point, I absolutely want to see minimum 3-man playoff. And I don't even want it to be for a 13-2 or a 12-3. Make it a complete garbage fire 11-4 Yusho.
Yes.
4, like 3 Maegashira and 1 Komosubi competing for the Yusho in the playoff. Just make it as crazy and asinine as you can. And I will be all in. But that being
Thy
said,
name is
what's going to
Sumo.
happen the rest of this time, Takakeisho's going to win out. Everybody's going to lose. Takakeisho 12-3 Yusho. And it's going to be fairly
that's really
straightforward and
boring.
boring.
Ah.
Well, what I was gonna say was like I understand why it took you a while to like you know have that opinion. It's one of those things where like
I'm going to say it. I hate Maegashira Yusho.
Okay, that's fair. But it's one of those things that's
You're
just
wrong.
difficult
Okay.
to.
I
You're
know.
Entitled to your
definitely wrong.
opinion. It's
I
wrong.
understand.
But okay.
I agree that I am wrong, but I can't help how I feel.
Yeah, it's just one of those things that's hard as like by human nature it's when things are like weird or scary or crazy or unpredictable, like we want there to be a narrative, right? Like that's why there's so many conspiracy theories about like the JFK assassination or the Natsu 2022 sumo basho. Like when things are like so upsetting, like you it's comforting to think that there's a plan behind it or a narrative or something to latch onto, but the world is this dark, scary, chaotic place.
Sometimes the narrative is just shit sucks, yo.
Shit sucks, yo.
And the sooner you can plow through the existential crisis, the sooner you won't be, keeping you up at night when you're like, Sadano Umi?
Oyama.
Like, it's just, we're with you. And dear listener, I hope that you can get through this trying time with us.
Yeah.
Come with us. It's okay.
Come to
What
the
you just have
land
to
of chaotic parody.
Yes.
What you just have to realize, Brian, is that this is just the middle. We don't know the entire narrative until the end. So you were seeing these low parts, but this is like the Empire Strikes Back of the trilogy. That is,
The trilogy that is
Hoshoryu.
our basho coverage.
yeah,
That just
exactly.
means Ura is going to come back as the Ewoks in the Return of the Jedi. Culmination of this. Like, oh, it's Ura. He's the cute one.
Yeah.
That is the destination. So you have to have these like just crazy bashos to get Ura as an Ewok in the later ones.
Hoshoryu
Well,
as the Skywalker. Like, I am Hoshoryu.
And I was going to say Toby Zaru is Jar Jar Binks.
Oh, yeah. Okay. That fits. That fits.
Unpredictable and just kind of slapsticking his way into contention here.
And probably a Sith, right?
No, that's
we should
Tamawashi
probably
with all
make,
of his with
we
all of
should
his
make this a
destroyed
bonus
Kotanages.
episode because otherwise we're going to spend all our time talking about Star Wars comparisons here.
I am okay with this.
All right. Existential crisis behind us. Who cares that there's no clear future of sumo and that nobody is dominant
Yeah,
enough to step forward in this?
That's fine.
That-
Let's move
that's-
did this
just go
Basho's
back to our
future
regular
is?
day-to-day crisis about like the environment or whatever. We got plenty of
Choose
other
one.
existential crises
Yeah.
to worry about.
So that being said, anybody else you guys want to talk about so far this show?
I actually got
don't-
that rant off my chest, and I think I'm actually pretty good now.
I just have one silver lining that has come out of this basho so far. I don't know if you guys know this or not, but we know Gunbai Dori means that the Yoji's decision is upheld. But when it's reversed, I've never been able to hear what that actual term is. I finally heard it. I had to listen in real close, but it's apparently Satsi Chigai. Am I hearing?
Sachigai, I think.
Sachigai. But
Jake
anyway,
probably
that is
knows.
reversal of decision. So that is
There-
another one I want to try and work in. But I was like, oh, I actually heard it this time.
Yeah. So go to Wikipedia and search glossary of sumo terms anytime you're curious. There's like 1,000 things on here. I think Sumo Forums has a huge glossary too, right, Fleric?
Yep.
Yeah,
That's what I was actually just pulling up, but Sachi did not
Sashi
find anything.
Chigai. Yeah.
Sashi.
Yeah, Sachi Chigai.
Yeah, there were a
Yep.
couple other things that I had picked up just in like browsing conversations and stuff like that, some vocab that we want to try and work on. Another one that I had heard this basho was hazuoshi. It's not like a kimarite, so it's not like something that is written down anywhere, but it's like a mid bout technique. And this is pushing with your hands in the opponent's armpits.
The Kagayaki special.
Yeah, so he just tucks his elbows in so you can't do it to him, and he does the duck walk with his hands trying to dig into your armpits. So yeah, so it's not a kimarite, so it's not something that you would see often as a terminology unless you're talking about what's happening in the ring. And that's something that I kind of want to learn more about. So I'm probably going to try and wedge in more vocab.
I realized I wasn't done with my existential crisis. When
Oh,
I
God,
wanted
Ryan,
to
we've moved
talk
on.
about other Rikishi. So Koto Nawaka starts the basho 3-0, defeating all 3 Ozeki. I post something on Twitter is like, all right, is this Koto Nawaka legit, or do the Ozeki all just suck? And most people come to, oh yeah, legit, future Ozeki, future Yokozuna. So what does he do after raising everybody's hope with a 3-0 start against all the Ozeki? Loses his next 4 matches.
Yep.
Even within the basho itself, it can't let us have good things. A funny thing that I enjoyed was Midori Fuji just completely slipping and missing Meisei today. And
That was
figuring out
hilarious.
something that's only going to happen in this basho. And then Oho, somebody that was tagged as a potential Ozeki Rikishi from the get-go, struggling once again in his second basho in the top division at the 3-5 record right now.
You're ruining my
credit.
Ozeki dream, man.
To his credit, he's still like, 11 and a half years old. So
Yeah,
like he's
got time.
Um,
And my final point of existential crisis that has come.
Ryan, just have another chocolate.
I will. But before that, my new Juryo love, Kita Nowaka, made it up to Juryo 5. He had a rough start to the basho, 1-4, and then he pulled out on day 6 for an injury that's going to keep him out the rest of the basho. 1-14 at Juryo 5 makes me real scared he's going to go down to Makushita. So
mhm.
another heartbreak. But Atami Fuji, the 19-year-old phenom, he is tied for the Juryo Yusho lead with 6-2, and the Juryo Yusho is looking a lot like the Makuuchi Yusho right now. You've got 5 guys at 6-2, and then you've got 8 guys at 5-3. So it's just as crazy and jumbled as Makuuchi, but it's regular because that's Juryo. That's just how
Yeah,
they do.
that's how Juryo's supposed to be, but not
Yeah.
not our top division.
All right. Anybody else have anything to talk before we go on to GSB belt and prediction series update?
I just got a couple Richie. I want to say Takara Fuji is looking not great. Obviously something's wrong. Hopefully it's nothing too major.
Yeah,
That would be very,
Takara
very
Fuji
sad.
is the only completely defeated Rikishi so far at
Correct.
0-8.
He's still like so strong. It's who's the other one that I was thinking? Azumaryu is kind of the same. Like they
Oh,
don't. Azumaryu is having more success, but like both of them are just really slow, but still pretty strong.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like
Solid.
Takara Fuji,
Solid
you just
base.
kind of like run around behind him, and then you're fine.
Yeah.
Okay, he probably
There's
won't
one
catch
match-
you, but if he does, then you're in trouble. But
Yeah. There's one match where it kind of looked like he just kind of fell over, but he was looking better today. So hopefully he's kind of on the up and up.
His Koto no Waka
Today
match
was a good
was
one.
like that. Or not Koto no
Yeah.
Waka, I'm sorry, Koto Eiko.
It's too many
Yeah.
Kodos.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what I mean. It's like too many Kotos.
And on the other side, Tochinoshin, I thought he looked pretty good this basho. So
4-4.
I'm pretty excited about that. Yeah. Keep it
Yeah,
up.
he started off 0-3, and I thought, oh no, this is gonna go bad. But then he recovered. He went 4-0 after that.
The fact that Teru Tsuyoshi was able to lift him for
That was
less
awesome.
than a second, but still to
Yeah.
get those feet pumping from Tochinoshin, I'm like, oh my God, he did it.
That
I
match
love
was
that.
beautiful. All right, let's take a quick break, and we will come back and update everybody on the GSB belt.
If you enjoy the Grand Sumo Breakdown podcast, you can leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or your favorite podcast listening service.
You can find us on social media, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Just search for Grand Sumo Breakdown.
Support the show on Patreon and check out our blog, grandsumobreakdown.wordpress.com.
If you have any questions, comments, or corrections, drop us a line at grandsumobreakdown@gmail.com or give us a call at 805-613-7866. That's 805-613-SUMO.
Also, watch us on YouTube.
We're back.
Oh, I wasn't prepared.
The GSB belt. We're gonna do that next. So Kin Bozan, Makushita 4 West. We mentioned on our preview that he did the silly thing where he did really well last basho and basically kept our belt in the exact same spot because he ended up beating, who was it, Ryuden on the last day?
Yep.
Chiyonaumi on the last day.
Sure, that one too. Ryuden, Nishikawa beat Ryuden the basho before.
Right.
That's
so
what
two
I'm
times in a
thinking of.
row, the belt has like stagnated because somebody lower ranked wins it and then gets promoted right to where the damn thing was before. But this time, no, I take it back. I have no reason to think it'll be any different this time. But Kin Bozan won a couple matches at the beginning of the basho to hang on to it. But then he lost the GSB belt to Hokuseiho. And I was like, oh, that's kind of cool.
I know that
Maybe,
name.
yeah, it's a name that I know. Yeah, that's kind of interesting. But then he immediately lost it to Oshoma.
A name I don't know.
A name I
Oshoma
don't know.
is
but
interesting.
I was gonna say, Flaric, you know a little bit about this guy. You found an article on Oshoma and Hokuseiho.
Oh yeah, that's the one from Insight Japan, I believe. The John
Inside
Gunning
Sports
kind
Japan.
of
Yep.
yeah, the John Gunning media conglomerate.
Media
where they're-
Empire.
yeah, doing untold evil things. But yeah, I think I sent you some things. Apparently, he did really well in amateur sumo. He was like a student at Yokozuna in university, I believe.
Yep. He
wow.
debuted at Makushita 15 in Kyushu 2011 or 2021. Sorry.
So these guys are
2011.
Oshoma and Hokuseiho are potentially like, being that they're both Mongolian, coming up really strong around the same time period here. Kind of looked at as a potential future big time rivalry. So that'd be kind of cool.
Mhm.
I want to try and go back and find some Oshoma matches because I feel like if that's the track that he's on, I want to know a little bit more about him. Want to see some of his wrestling matches.
All right. We'll update everybody on the Champ Chump series since everything in the Makuuchi division is pretty muddled and close together. So, of course, our Champ Chump series is going to be pretty muddled and close together. Right now, I am in the lead, very, very slim lead with 10 points. Jake and Mac right on my heels with 9 points, and Flaric trailing behind with the Wakataka Kage Koto no Waka combo has
I'm so sad.
7 points.
Oh no.
We're
I
Flaric-
should have gone with Hoshoryu. I should have gone with Hoshoryu.
we are a henka and a bonus point away from all being within 1 point
Yep.
here. So
Yeah.
like everything is completely in flux and we know nothing.
Which means we have to write a song for this one. How are we going to do it?
I think we all need to pick a song for each of the other three. So all of us are going to have to write at least 3 songs to prepare
Oh,
for
good
our
Lord.
recap, just in case.
No, I think the most likely scenario, due to timing, because we're all busy people, we're going to be recording this the day of 15, our final recap. That's not going to, based on how this series is going, we're not going to know who the loser is.
It's
We're not going to
unlikely.
have time to prepare the song by the time that we record the recap episode. So in all likelihood, the song will be on our Nagoya preview episode. That punishment will happen then, but we'll be making up for the spicy punishment where Jake, Flaric, and I will be eating the spicy chip on the recap episode for this basho. That's just
Ooh.
1 week away, I'm realizing, and I'm not mentally prepared for that.
Oh no.
You need more than a week to prepare for eating a spicy thing. I guess.
Yes.
Yeah, I like about a week to come up with an excuse to not make.
All right, Flaric, what's your excuse?
I already used an Ultimate Frisbee tournament already, haven't I? Oh, sucks.
Yes.
Yeah. You've had at least 4 or 5 grandmas that have passed away that you had to go to funerals for. So I don't think that's
That
gonna
is a good
fly for
point.
you
Yeah,
anymore.
can't do that
Yeah,
one.
I'm gonna have to start going to grandpa's. Let's go.
Uh-oh.
Liverpool's
course.
matches are too early in the day for you to use that as an excuse.
I know,
All right.
but they won the FA Cup, so Liverpool, a soccer club, are pretty
Spoilers.
good. I'm gonna tell you guys. Yeah, spoilers.
I was gonna
Fine,
watch the
Flick.
whole season of whatever league that soccer is, and you spoil. Yeah, no, I'm all right.
I know.
Flex got
I-
me into the football clubs now, so now I'm rooting for another team. So woo!
He called it
There you go,
football
one of
instead of
us.
soccer. He's serious now.
Ooh,
Yeah.
that's how you know.
Next step, he has to call it footy.
No.
No, that's next Gigabring. It really is. I'll tell you. I'll tell you what.
Let's stop talking about footy. Let's go to the lightning round. We're gonna try to keep it super lightning today. All right, everybody mentally prepared?
Not really. I need to look up who the wrestlers are. This.
Good to know. I'll start with Flerick then. Flerick, who has impressed you the most? that's a hard one.
Teratsuyoshi.
How?
Teratsuyoshi.
Okay, no, hold on.
You
How?
said lightning round.
I don't care when he says something dumb like Teratsuyoshi has impressed him the most. We got to stop down on that.
Okay.
He's
it will
2
make
and
sense.
6.
Yeah. But have you
Is
seen
it
my
just
pick
because
up
that one match?
Tochinoshin? Yeah.
You know what? In
Did
this
you expect
basho,
that?
I apologize. In this basho, it counts.
It counts.
Did you expect that to happen?
I
Ryan?
did not.
No.
I
So
did not.
some would say that's pretty impressive.
You know what, Flerick? You have corrected me, and I am sorry that I misjudged that comment. Mac, who has impressed you the most?
Oyama, because what the hell?
Jake, who's impressed you the most?
I was trying to look up a clever answer for a god of trickery or mischief, but I don't have a good one. The concept of chaos.
Tamawashi. Mac, who has disappointed you the most?
Takara Fuji, what you doing, baby?
Jake,
The whole Sanyaku.
me, Wakataka Kage. Flerick.
Oh,
Wakataka Kage.
Jake, what has been your favorite match of the basho?
Chiyotairyu landing an absolute face buster like old school WWF style on Midori Fuji.
For me, it is Koto Shoho versus Nishikigi on day 3. Just a good back and forth belt battle. Flerick, favorite match of the basho so far?
I'm gonna double down. Tochinoshin versus Teratsuyoshi.
All right,
That was just a great back and forth.
and Mac.
Teratsuyoshi versus Koto Shoho, day 1.
All right. Favorite. Nope, we already did that one. Most exciting potential matchup. Whoever is in the first matchup of our multi-man playoff.
I was gonna say Chiyotairyu versus Ichi Yamamoto in a playoff for the win.
Yeah. What about you,
I
Make
want
it
Flerick?
Sada Naomi. That's even lamer.
Yeah.
Ooh. I don't know. The more we talk about him, the less lame he becomes, I will say. I want the circle of Mitakayumi, Terunofuji, and Takara Mafuji to be facing off against each other. Takara Makeisho.
Takara Makeisho?
What are we even talking about?
I don't know.
I want all the Ozeki and Yokozuna to face off against each other, except Shodai.
The
Okay.
lightning round is too much pressure for Flerick.
All right. Flerick, who's gonna win? Mac, who's gonna win?
Chaos.
Jake, who's gonna win?
I feel like we're all winning, but Hoshoryu.
I'm gonna stick with my boring answer. Takakeisha's just gonna win out. Everybody else is gonna
Oh.
falter. No playoff, no nothing. Just standard Ozeki win after all this hubbub. and
Sadness
build-up.
hedge. Well done.
Yep.
This
Not
has to be one of the
Yokozuna?
first basho where all 4 of us are like, we have no idea. Literally no clue.
Literally anybody is anybody could still win this. Takara Fuji 0-8 could still win this.
And there's no favorite. There's
don't think
I
he
don't think he
nothing.
can.
I mean, they probably do matchups to make sure that he couldn't, but
was gonna say.
mathematically, if they did the matchups in just a certain way, Takara Fuji could win this.
Could they?
I don't
Don't like
think
half
so.
have to have winning rounds.
Actually, yeah, that's a good point. Mathematically, it couldn't happen. If you like dig just slightly deeper more into the math, you're absolutely right. Takara Fuji
Need to
can't
pull
win
some
this.
people from Jurio to make this
Wasn't-
happen. Let's go.
Didn't have to dig deep at all.
Well, I wasn't
immediately
digging
knew
at all.
that.
That was my problem.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
So we got a question from one of our patrons, one of our more controversial patrons, Rob Lunsford, as opposed to the real and actual Rod. He's calling me out.
He's
He's
got
saying-
receipts.
I like this guy more and
Yeah.
more.
He does have receipts.
Yeah, he says by the dark powers vested to him by his $3 a month donation, we are bound by blood to discuss. So apparently, at the 1 hour and 11-minute mark on the Aki 2020 recap episode,
Wow.
I said about Hokuto Fuji and Wakataka Kage that the first one to win a Yusho will forever be my number one.
Wow.
So he is calling me out. I don't I don't know if he just like
That's good.
wrote down
Rob.
that I said that and is like checking his notes and just waiting.
No, I'm sure he just remembers you saying something like that and then had to search for it.
Probably.
Although, if there is a comprehensive library about what timestamp we've discussed each topic over the history of our podcast, I'd love to put that in a spreadsheet sometime.
Absolutely. So his question is, would I care to officially reaffirm my new favorite in the hearts, mind, and ears of our listening base, and thereby enshrine it forever into the GSB canon? So this is a complicated issue. So I have always said Hokuto Fuji he was my original favorite. He stole my heart when we first got into
your boy.
this. But the thing is, like, I'm an adult and I don't latch on and love things like I did when I was a kid. So things that were my favorite when I was a kid, I have such a much stronger emotional attachment to those things.
You're
So it's a
defining
lot
yourself
harder.
in 2020
Hold on, Mac.
as a
I'm going
kid.
through some shit.
You are no longer in your existential crisis. Be an adult and
I'm
move
back.
on.
He went
I'm
right
right
back
back-
in there.
What's more millennial and adult than having a constant existential crisis?
Oh,
Yeah,
jeez.
you just pick which one off of the list to deal with at one
Yeah.
time.
And we're just going down my list today, apparently.
When you get into like the fourth or fifth, once in a lifetime financial crisis as a millennial that you're going through, sometimes you can multitask and have two at the same time.
Just bought a house.
Yeah. Yeah, no, you're
Let
screwed.
me process my stuff, Mac. Come on. So, like I was saying, as an adult, I don't get as emotionally attached to things as I did when I was a kid. So like I attached to the Minnesota Vikings when I was a kid, and that like emotional attachment has remained strong. So I could never ever see me forsaking the Minnesota Vikings in my football team. I don't know what I would do if I wasn't cheering for
It
the Minnesota
usually happens
Vikings.
around week 4 or 5, I think.
Yeah.
And same with like my favorite WWE wrestlers. They're always like, I'm always going to love Edge more than anybody else because when I was a kid, he was my favorite. And so it's just always going to be that way. When I'm choosing like who my favorite is going to be as an adult, I'm not getting like as emotionally invested in it because I'm an adult. I'm smarter than that. I got a bunch of other stuff that I'm worried about. So I love Hokuto Fuji. I'll always love Hokuto Fuji, but he is not like providing a whole lot of excitement for me every basho. He's always like kind of in the joy, but he's not doing a whole lot. He's not adding to the narrative, and we all know how much I love narratives.
Ryan.
I still love Hokuto Fuji, but then the minute Wakataka Kage came in, I knew that there was a chance he could take my heart. The name, how could I? And then he's lived up to the name. He's won a Yusho. He's Sekiwake. He's threatening for Ozeki. Not looking good right now. But
I was
he's
gonna say,
been-
how's that?
He's still there.
How's that choice of narrative looking for you right now?
It's sounding more like a long term, a slow burn.
Yeah. Yeah. We're in the middle of the story, Fleric. You see.
Oh, well
this
played.
This is the manga / anime storyline.
So it gets more complicated because he mentioned Aki 2020. That was the Makuuchi debut of one Hoshoryu, who is also deep into my heart at this point. And so I would say I have a solid top 3: Wakataka Kage, Hoshoryu, Hokuto Fuji.
He did not know the answer at the beginning of
No,
this,
he
so
did
he's
not.
stalling.
He did
He's
not.
stalling
He
for
has to-
time.
I
He's
would
convincing
say
himself.
Hokuto Fuji is probably, if like this basho when Wakataka Kage faces Hokuto Fuji,
Rip the
I want
band-aid off.
Yeah,
I
do
want-
it, Ryan.
I want Wakataka Kage to win because I know that's getting him to Ozeki. A loss to Hokuto Fuji could cost him that. I don't want him to happen. I want good things for Wakataka Kage more than I want Hokuto Fuji to get another 9-6 record. And then the same for Hoshoryu. Like when Hoshoryu goes up against Wakataka Kage this basho, it's like, well, I want Wakataka Kage to do well, but I also want Hoshoryu to be an Ozeki. And so I think based on the feeling that I had in Hoshoryu versus Wakataka Kage, I think I'm choosing an answer that wasn't on the board back in Aki 2020. I would say if gun pointed to my head, Hoshoryu is the guy that I would root for above all others at this point in time.
Oh my god.
And
Okay,
that
thanks for
answer-
listening. We'll see you now that we
That
got that handled.
answer can change, based on many things. It's a fluid situation. But
Or
right
no
now,
That's
things,
not how
it sounds
stuff
like.
works.
That is not how this works.
You say something on the internet, and that's your opinion, how you
I-
feel
yeah,
forever.
you
I
now.
get
feel
it.
like
What
a
you're
load has
supposed
been
to do
lifted
is-
off my shoulders.
What you're supposed to do is pick a favorite, get his towel, get his name tattooed on your ass, and just run with that forever. Like that's.
How has that been treating you the past couple months, Jake?
I had a special cushion for my office chair, but no, it's good now. I mean, like it's just like any of my other tattoos. I mean, it's easier to like not scratch at it when it's on your butt and you're not looking at it. So
All right.
I feel like it'd be harder.
Exactly. Like, my butt itches.
that's what the cushion's for.
Oh.
You know what? This basho's been crazy to start off with, but after going through all this and talking through everything that this basho has caused me, I feel more emotionally healthy at the end of this whole thing. So
There you go.
you know, good things can happen due to this chaos.
I think we made a lot of progress today.
I think
Yeah.
we
So-
have. We should talk again next week.
So, Rob, in answer to your question,
We're
no,
Ryan's
Ryan
therapy.
is not officially enshrining it into forever to GSP canon.
I said Hoshoryu for now.
That wasn't part of the two answers.
Things change. That was 2 years
Yeah.
ago.
You got to be
Bye.
flexible, Mac.
Gee.
Which one are you guys moving on to? I'm thinking American healthcare system is my crisis for the afternoon.
Oh, God.
Mm. It's supposed to rain. That's kind of making me a little.
I
Have a little
Hello,
crisis.
darkness, my old friend.
I can hear my daughter crying in the other room, so I think that's my next crisis.
There
Okay.
we go. Ah, that sounds
All
good.
right,
I'll see you guys
let's
there.
get out of this.
See ya.
Takes out Ryan.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to Grand Sumo Breakdown.
Until next time,
Throw your salt high.
And keep moving forward.